My mother is still alive, and sorry, wrong tone. I'm blessed to have my mother still with me. Better? No, you know, she's still around. That's good, and I think she's part of it. You know, the whole end thing. It's weird. No matter how old they get, I'm 56. You know, my mom's still around, got all her mental things. She's all good upstairs physically. She's doing great. But they can, you know, they can still fuck your day up at any age, surprise you. Like I got a text about a month or so ago from my mother in the middle of a nice day, all caps. I wish we could do your childhood over. With a little baby bottle emoji. What does that even mean? What is that? Like, I didn't even know what that, like, what was the tone of that? Was it, I didn't know if she was being contrite, you know, or nostalgic. Like, was she taking responsibility for whatever caused me to do this for a fucking living? or was she just sort of reflecting and like, we were friends when you were 4. I don't know if you remember that. Either way, I responded with, I don't think I can handle it, with this emoji. But she's part of the end, I think. She's part of the unfolding. She's part of the prophecy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I call her up, and I'm like, hi, Mom. She's like, hi, Mark. How's it going? Good. So glad you called. How are you? I'm good. What are you doing? You know, the stuff. That's good. How about you? Everything good? Yup. What have you been doing? We went to that restaurant that we took you to when you were here. The one you always go to? Yes. They give you too much food. Okay. What else is going on? This happened like a couple months ago. My mother said this out of nowhere. She goes, I have to go, Mark. I have to go feed my iguanas. And I said, what? She goes, my iguanas. I have to feed them. I love you. Bye. My mother doesn't have iguanas. And I thought, this is her. This is it. She's starting to go, right? But then I thought, wait, maybe it's like senior sex code. You know what I mean? Maybe there was a couple of octogenarian men sitting on her sofa in their boxers going, when's this going to happen? Is it going to happen? You can laugh at that. She's my mother. You don't have to respect her. She can take the hit. She likes to be talked about. She does. When she hears that joke, all she'll say is that necessary? But iguanas, man. I did a Google search on South Florida and iguanas. Yeah. Turns out there's a massive iguana problem in South Florida. They're all over the place. They're out of control. They're eating through power lines or showing up in cars and homes. There's literally iguanas fucking everywhere. So yes, the lizard portal is open. All over the world. And on every one of those websites where I looked at the iguana issue, you know what it says? Please do not feed the iguanas. But my mother has taken it upon herself to, I assume she thinks she's feeding the same few iguanas every day out behind her house, like they're her friends. She's just down there going like, look, this is some food from the restaurant we took my son to when he was here. They give you so much food. I hope you enjoy it. Look at your tongue. Look at the tongue. Look at the tongue. Now, and if that isn't written somewhere in the prophetic books, when the aging Jewish witch feeds the dinosaurs off her deck, the return of the Christ is upon us. I believe it's in Revelation, and I just want to say, that's my mommy, and I'm proud of her.